Hello and welcome. Hi, welcome to this channel. Hey, this is Mr. E. I wanted to touch base with you again. Maybe do like a weekly video or something like that. Maybe throw in a meditation video once a week as well or something like that. But anyway, I wanted to touch base with you. And today I want to talk about the recapitulation and what that can kind of mean for you. Yeah, I got a little dog that likes to howl, so whatever. She's just having fun. Anyway, uh, what we generally do is I generally walk for miles and miles today, in a day. And what that helps you do is the seers would say that you store your memories on the back of your legs. And what that does is release old patterns and old. It makes your garbage come up to the surface so you can see it. And that's what we work on releasing. We're trying to get this out of our field. We're trying to get this out of our system so we can be free. So remember, this is the path of freedom, and the path of the heart is the path of the freedom. And so what we like to do is we'd like to go for long, long walks, and then the dogs like it, so that's fun. And it's fun. We got a beach that's about 2.5 miles long, so we generally just go down to the end and back. So that's about 5 miles, and we do that twice a day. So that's about 10 miles a day of walking. And not only is it good exercise for you, but it does release those patterns and all those memories, so you can come up and so you can see them. And there's one thing that comes in. They called it what they call that. They called it the usher. There will be one event that comes in that stands out and is very in your face, and it'll be very, very vivid, be lifelike. So it's almost like you're in a dream, but you're just remembering this stuff happening. Just close your eyes and go into a meditation. Try to remember past life event, and this one will encompass more or less what your entire life is like, what it's been about, kind of a cycle, a pattern of what it's like. And so then from there after that, what happens is what happens is you'll be able to remember easier these things and more vividly. So you'll be able to remember all the details better, and you'll be able to relive it, like experience the feelings. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to gain our energy back from what was expended during those life circumstances. And what we're trying to do is create bring our energy body back to us, because it's been split, it's been severed, it's been fractured. So what you want to try to do, just from all these events in our lives, what you want to try to do is, what you want to do is make you want to list of everybody you've ever known, all your beliefs, all your beliefs, like say like religion and what you believe that is true and stuff. You want to make a list of those things, and you want to go back and recapitulate kind of where those came from, and people, places, things, events, and there's kind of an active type of recapitulation, and then there's a passive type of recapitulation. The active is kind of where you actually remember. The stuff will come up into your field. It'll come up into your memory, a certain event. And most of the time we just shrug that stuff off and just forget about it. But if you're aware of the recapitulation, now you have an opportunity to actually gain your energy back from that memory, and what it does is it frees yourself from this artificial mind. The human being is encompassed with two minds, and one of them's been silenced, and that's your real one. That's the child within has been silenced from all this, um, all this. What do you call it? This trauma. Because it's traumatic when you're trying to talk when you're a kid and everybody tells you to shut up. I mean, your throat chakra just shuts down immediately, especially, even when you're a baby, that, oh, stop crying, here, take some of this, so they try to shut your throat chakra shuts down immediately. It's like, I'll let everybody cry and shout and scream. That's what needs to be done. And I think in the future times we can teach proper parenting, or they don't have to discipline everybody, because discipline is a cause for all this stuff to happen. And what it does is it creates a different entity inside of you that we call it the foreign installation. It's a foreign mind. It's a foreign installation of a mind that one size fits all, and it's kind of running the day-to-day life, and it's running the show, really. So what you want to do is you want to extinguish this. We want to get rid of it. So not necessarily get rid of it, because we get to learn a little bit from it. We should be grateful for everything that we have, even including the bad stuff, because it's not really bad or good. A warrior looks at it like everything's just a challenge. The average man looks at everything as if it's either a blessing or a curse. The warrior just looks at everything as a challenge. So it changes your perspective on things, and you get to live a much more fluid, happier life, is one of the things you get. But also you get to regain your youth. This is a way of actually living. What I call it is taking a 90-degree turn and living backwards. It's a secret they used to use to start getting younger, and it's actually just recapitulate your life. That's one of the keys to starting to live younger again. Is you'll start. Look, if you don't believe me, just try it for a month. Just start recapitulating for like a month and see if it works. See if you start getting more energy, and you'll have more energy. Okay, this is bottom line. You just have more energy, and more energy, more power, more. Your intentions get fulfilled faster. You can manifest faster. You can accomplish more things. You start living non-linear and more quantum. It just takes off, and life is amazing. It becomes a very, very magical life once we can eliminate this. I don't know. I call it the monkey mind. Say the monkey mind going around, and it's just, controlling everything, because it's got you. Something happens and you react to it. Something happens, you react to it, and then so you're not really in control. You're just reacting. That's just more or less robotic. You're just asleep. So the other thing is, we're just in a dream anyway. So you might as well, See, they also say, there is also something I read in what Ashiana Dean's literature, that you're perceiving one dimension below what your actual consciousness is anchored in. So if you're anchored in the fifth dimension, you're going to be perceiving the fourth dimension. So you actually literally are living backwards, like in reverse, when you become a warrior sorcerer type life, and it gives you a lot of power, because now you're pretty much, see, there's this thing that everybody agrees on it. All the Gnostics, all the there's some kind of other entity on this earth. We're not the top of the food chain after all. Someone's eating us, and the Toltecs agree with that. Um, Ashiana definitely agrees with it. There's all sorts of star seeds and indigos, and everybody agrees to it. Like the Bible even agrees to it. There's angels and demons, and so anyway, there's that. And so, what you're actually doing, because some of these life circumstances are triggered by these beings, so they can feed off your luminosity and your emotions. They feed on your emotions. So, what you're doing by doing the recapitulation, you're no longer feeding them anymore. You're taking the food out of their mouth. It's like in the fourth dimension, there is no time. So you're literally traveling back in time with your consciousness and taking the food out of their mouth by remembering and reliving the event. You are changing, and you're changing the timeline as well. And you always want to set the intention that you want to make it the highest and best timeline for your energetic your potential. Bring you towards your highest potential. You want your highest potential to be reached once you recapitulate. And there's also another thing, a trick that I do, because sometimes the energy that you've lost in a certain situation is not going to come right back to you. The universe might replace it with some other type of energy, just similar to what you lost. It might not actually be your own. So I always set the intention, always to ask that it be upgraded. Top of the line, upgraded energy, body parts or whatever coming back to me. I want the upgraded light body coming back to me, because there's probably upgrades, and so we want it to be upgraded as well. So you might as well ask for the upgrades. Anyway, I hope this stuff makes sense. I know it doesn't really make sense until you start doing it. You're not going to really understand. It's really hard to explain. Once you experience infinity, you can't explain the unknown. It's hard to do. We can talk about it all we want too, and you still won't understand it. So the only way to gain this type of knowledge is through experience. And the experience I'm asking you to do is to do the recapitulation, because that's where the work is. This is where the work is based in. And whether you're doing plant medicine or whatever, you're still going to do recapitulation, even with the plant medicine. The medicine's going to make you do it. It's smart. So that's why you purge when you do it. It's doing some type of recapitulation on whatever, or you might have a entity stuck to you, sucking the life out of you. Most people do. Yeah, I can see them. So anyway, it's interesting walking down the street nowadays, but, or it has been for quite a while for me. I just can see these things and hear them and smell them and know when they're coming. They try it. They're pretty sneaky. They're not stupid. So remember, we're not on the top of the food chain. So if something's hunting you, it knows your patterns very, very well. And so what we're trying to do is get out of these patterns so we're not being hunted anymore. There's only really two things that matter in life anyway. That's your birth and your death. And how are you going to die? And the recapitulation is going to make it a marvelous death. There's another option available for you at the point of death if you do the recapitulation. Because the ancient seers would see that the thing that all that grants us the awareness, which they called the eagle, would at the time of death would suck the awareness out of the assemblage point and back into it, lay it out flat, and then eat it. Awareness was its food. But they also noticed that if somebody did a whole recollection of their entire life, there was a pause before the eagle sucked vitality out of the being, and they noticed that if they did it enough, and there was enough recapitulation done, recall done, that it didn't actually take the vital life energy, but it took just the energy of the memories of the experience. So they discovered a huge thing there, that at the time of death, that the awareness, the thing that granted you or your awareness in your first place, doesn't really want your awareness back. It wants your experiences. And what you're supposed to do is you're actually supposed to do a recapitulation at the time of death. Something happened. I mean, if you take the Bufo, you notice you'll do a recapitulation during the experience of the medicine. That medicine shows you your death. I do recapitulation. Not everybody's the same, but I do a recapitulation. Then we go to the light, and then of course I choose to come back here because I can't abandon my fellow man. But it does show you a lot about death and what happens during that time, and you'll see that you can actually transfer the energy of your experiences instead of your vital life force. So you can remain conscious, a conscious being. You become a different type. That's another thing to explain later. I don't know exactly. Well, I do. We'll talk about that later. That's another conversation to be had. But to start with the recapitulation, I think it's the most important thing you can do. It is the path to freedom. So, and it's really, you're going to be taking a look at all the stuff you don't want to see. You're just going to look at it. It's going to come up. So get ready for it, because it's not going to be very comfortable. It's not a comfortable experience. That's why you have to take the warrior stance, because the warrior's battle is with himself. It's with these things that have been running your show. And still you start doing the recapitulation, you're not going to see them. No. And you can live life over and over again. It can circle around as many times as you want. This can go on forever. You can have it go on forever. So there is a secret energy there. And the other main objective that is available by doing the recapitulation is by actually enhancing the real mind. So you're actually enhancing your own consciousness. Now that's pretty cool. So anyway, I thought I'd touch base with that. I don't want to talk too long, but I do like doing it. I've been doing it for some time now, and I have noticed quite a bit of difference. I've got a lot more energy, and I get a lot more done. I get up there, sure, as I'm yawning. So anyway, but I do get a lot more done doing stuff that a younger man does. Neighbors are looking at me like, what are you doing? Because they're all older and they're not moving around that great, but I'm still moving around like a young man. So, take it or leave it. I know, and there is something there that makes us not want to do this thing. Trust me, there is something there that tells you not to do it. There's just something there. I don't know what that is. There's some, I think it's part of the foreign installation of the mind. I think is part of it. It's in there. It tells you not to do it because it knows it's going to be destroyed. It knows it's going to go. So then maybe they call that the ego. I don't know. But see, you're fractionalized. There's two different things. There's one that runs just on automatic, and it just kind of just in reflexive response mode, and just deals with the world like that. And then there's there's someone with intent who operates with intent, and there's a world of difference. So, um, some sorcerers and the beings that, trust me, the beings that are actually the powerful ones in this world can just pretty much open a hole and walk through it and go anywhere. So keep that in mind. That there's stuff available here. The stuff that we've been able to do in the past. This is not new stuff. This stuff has been available to mankind, and we had a fall. We had a fall in consciousness. Everybody thinks a fall is something else, but no, it's a fall in our consciousness. We're not as smart as we used to be because our consciousness fell. So we're not as conscious anymore. Does that make sense? I mean, that's what that means. The fall of man is a fall of consciousness. So we want to give back our consciousness. So to do that, we have to go through all the stuff that's running it and keeping us stuck in this present place. And it's kind of wild out there. They call it the bubble of perception. So the other thing you get to do with the recapitulation is you get to start weakening that bubble of perception, so you can actually make it crack and walk through it and experience infinity. Trust me, when you die, you're going to experience infinity. And so you want to get ready for that. They call that the definitive journey. It's your definitive journey. That's when it starts. That's when it begins. This is just preparation. The definitive journey is when you die. When that thing dies, that's when your definitive journey begins, and you get to explore everything. All the unknown. Then there's also the unknowable. So there's not only a second attention, there's also a third attention. And that's what we've been programmed to take people into, is the third attention. Because people get stuck in the second attention too. I saw the shamans do that. They were stuck in power, because power is involved in the second attention. And it's easy to do. That stuff's addicting. Once you can, and that's kind of what happened to this place. Is people got addicted to power. Look at it. You can't get enough of it. And it's crazy. The things, and they'll do anything to get it. See, they become insane. When they get stuck in the second attention, they become madmen, is what I call them. Because they're insane. All they want is power. And so, very, very dangerous for the consciousness there, because you're just going to get caught. It's a trap. Don't get stuck in the trap of ultimate power, because look at the place. That's what the problem is already. Plus, I do believe there's a cleanup every so often. Seems like, every couple hundred years or so, the place gets wiped clean and started over. The Hopis talk about it, the Gnostics talk about it, the Rosicrucians go dark, the Bible talks about it, you name it, it's all over the place. You can see evidence of it in the architecture. You can see ruins. Some of this stuff has been destroyed to try to hide it. I think the World's Fairs tried to hide the mud flood by destroying some buildings after the World's Fairs. They showed them off and then they destroyed them. Because there was like free energy, Tartaria, and the mud flood. And that's not too long ago. That's only a couple hundred years ago. So what really happened then? There's not free energy now. No, somebody duped the masses. here we are in this freaking, with the gas prices. Over $5 a gallon now, so, they're going to look back at this time and say they're the dark ages. We were living in the dark ages. It's crazy. That's what we're literally in the dark ages, coming out of it. It's supposed to be going into the golden age. Well, yeah, let's get on with it. We've been waiting long enough. I just can't express that enough. Let's get on with the golden age. Blessings to all. We all love you guys. If you have any questions, go ahead. I leave my personal email on the bottom, so you're welcome to shoot me any questions you like. And you could give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe, and we'll keep the videos coming. Hey, thanks for watching, and make it a great day.